The wind outside howled like a wild thing that night, rattling the windows of the tiny bus stop shelter. Snow swirled under the flickering streetlight, and the world looked like it had been swallowed by white. Inside the shelter, 38-year-old Evan held his 7-year-old daughter Ellie close, wrapping the thin emergency blanket tighter around both of them. He prayed the bus would come soon. He prayed even harder that Ellie wouldn't notice how badly he was shaking. But then, footsteps crunched through the snow. And before Evan even turned his head, a voice, steady, warm, unexpectedly gentle, whispered, "Can I slip under your blanket?" Evan froze. Because standing there, cheeks red from the cold, snow in her hair, was his CEO. Before the story continues, make sure you subscribe to TruthLines USA for more powerful, real-life stories that touch the heart. Give this video a like if you enjoy emotional storytelling, and share your thoughts in the comments. We love hearing from you. Evan never imagined his boss, CEO Madison Carter of Carter Tech Industries, would be standing in a storm at a bus stop on the rougher edge of town. Madison wasn't the cold, robotic leader many people pictured when they heard the word CEO. She was known for being brilliant, tough, and precise. But soft. Vulnerable. Out here in the snow with no security detail. That didn't compute. But there she was. She was shivering violently, her clothes thin for an evening like this. She must have been caught in the sudden blizzard that blew in before sunset. Her hands were turning pink, edging toward blue. And yet, even in misery, she was smiling that respectful, gentle smile she was known for inside the company. "Mr. Hayes." "Evan, may I?" she asked again, nodding toward the blanket. Evan couldn't form words. He had just spent months trying to keep his job while juggling single fatherhood. His ex had left suddenly, falling out of touch, and overnight everything fell on his shoulders. Childcare bills, late-day meetings, Ellie catching the flu twice in 2 months, it all stacked up until he felt one missed paycheck away from collapse. He'd been worried sick that the CEO saw him as a burden or distraction. He never expected her to need anything from him. "Of course," he finally said, lifting the corner of the metallic blanket. Madison lowered herself beside him and Ellie on the cold bench, teeth chattering as she pulled part of the thin material over her shoulders. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice trembling. Ellie peeked up. "Hi, Miss Madison." The CEO blinked in surprise. "You remember me. You gave me a chocolate milk when Daddy brought me to work," Ellie said with a shy smile. Madison's features softened into something Evan rarely saw, pure warmth. "I remember that. You were very brave that day." The three huddled together as the storm raged. Madison smelled faintly of peppermint and winter air, not perfume. Evan felt her body shake with cold. Without thinking, he pulled her closer to give her more warmth. She didn't resist. For several minutes, they said nothing. Then Madison exhaled shakily. "My car slid into a snowbank 2 blocks from here. My phone died. I tried finding help, but all the nearby businesses were closed. I saw the shelter lights and hoped someone might be here." Evan nodded. "The bus should have come 20 minutes ago, so we're kind of stranded too." Madison let out a breathy laugh. "Well, that makes the 3 of us." The harsh wind blew again, and Ellie snuggled deeper between the adults. Madison instinctively wrapped an arm around her. And that's when Evan realized something he never expected. Madison wasn't just cold. She was exhausted, emotionally, physically, maybe even spiritually. Her posture sagged. Her eyes looked tired in a way makeup normally hid. "Long day?" Evan asked gently. She looked away for a moment. "Long year." It was such a simple answer. But something in it, the quiet crack in her voice, made Evan feel an ache he didn't expect. For the first time, she wasn't the unreachable CEO. She was someone just trying her best in a world that demanded too much. Evan hesitated, then said softly, "I know that feeling." He didn't expect her to react. But she did. She turned her head fully, meeting his eyes. "Do you?" she whispered. And slowly, under that flickering streetlight, wrapped together under a flimsy silver blanket, Evan told her his story. He didn't give every detail, only the pieces that shaped him. Losing his wife to depression. Fighting the courts to get full custody. The crushing loneliness of raising a child while balancing demanding hours and bills that never stopped showing up. How some nights he skipped dinner so Ellie wouldn't have to. He didn't cry. But his voice shook. And that was enough. Madison listened like no one had listened to him in years. No judgment. No condescension. No corporate mask. She listened with the kind of presence that made the cold fade around them. When he finished, Madison swallowed hard. "Evan, why didn't you tell me you were struggling?" He gave a hollow laugh. "Because I thought you'd think I was weak." Madison stared at him like he had said something in a language she didn't understand. Kindness isn't weakness. Vulnerability isn't weakness. And raising your daughter the way you do. She shook her head. That's strength most people can't fathom. He absorbed her words slowly, like they were unfamiliar. Then Madison looked down at Ellie, peacefully dozing against her shoulder. A small, warm smile touched her lips. "You're not alone, you know. You don't have to be." Just as she said that, a set of headlights approached. The late bus finally pushed through the snow, brakes screeching as it halted in front of the shelter. Evan exhaled in relief. Finally. But Madison didn't stand. She kept the blanket over all three of them for another moment. "Before we get on," she said softly, "I need to ask you something." Evan blinked. "What is it?" Madison hesitated. "I know we barely talk outside meetings. But I want to help. Not as your CEO, not as your boss, but as a fellow human being." She paused. "Would you let me?" He stared, stunned. "Why?" She met his gaze with sincerity so raw it melted something inside him. "Because you shared your warmth with me tonight," she said. "And I want to share mine with you. Kindness is the least we owe each other." There were no fancy words. No corporate phrasing. Just human connection. Evan nodded slowly. "Okay." They stood, waking Ellie gently, and boarded the bus. The heater blasted through the vents, thawing their frozen bodies. Madison let Evan and Ellie take the double seat while she sat across from them. She kept watching Ellie with a gentle smile Evan had never seen on her before, not the polished business smile, but a real one. By the time they reached downtown, where Madison had insisted on paying for a cab for all three of them, the storm had softened into a quiet swirl. Before parting ways, Madison placed a hand on Evan's arm. "I'm serious about helping," she said. "Come see me Monday morning. Not in the boardroom. In my office. We'll talk." Evan nodded, unsure what the future held, but for once not fearing it. And Madison, before stepping into her cab, whispered to him with that same gentle voice from the bus stop, "Stay warm, Evan. And thank you for the blanket." The cab drove away, leaving Evan and Ellie standing under the quiet snowfall, the blanket still wrapped around their shoulders. In the days that followed, everything changed, not overnight, not magically, but through steady acts of kindness. Madison arranged flexible hours for Evan so he could take Ellie to school without panic. She introduced him to company programs he didn't even know existed, resources for parents, mental health support, tuition assistance so he could finish the degree he put on hold years ago. She even visited Ellie's school presentation once, sitting in the back with a proud smile, cheering like family. But the most important gift wasn't what she gave, it was what she taught him. That kindness softens the sharp edges of life. That even the strongest people need a place to rest. And that shared warmth, whether a physical blanket in a snowstorm or an emotional one offered in trust, can change everything. Evan never forgot that night. He never forgot the way the storm raged, the bus delayed, the cold biting at their skin. But mostly, he remembered the moment a powerful CEO humbled herself, shivering and vulnerable, and whispered the simple request that bridged two very different lives. "Can I slip under your blanket?" It was the night he learned that kindness isn't a grand gesture. It's small. It's human. It's choosing to care when you don't have to. And that choice, the choice Madison made at a broken-down bus stop on a winter night, set off a ripple effect of compassion that shaped the rest of their lives. So as you finish this story, take a moment to look around your world. Someone nearby might be freezing in a storm of their own, something invisible, something heavy. And maybe all they need, all they're waiting for, is a little warmth. A small gesture. A human moment. A quiet kindness that says, "You're not alone." Because kindness, when shared, becomes the blanket that warms us all.